We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to minus 106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Thursday, September 5th, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
Oh, our favorite sport, our favorite time of the year. The kids are showing up. Training camp right around the corner. Preseason hockey here inside a couple of weeks. Time to talk about a brand new hockey season. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Our buddy Cam Stewart, he's north of the border. And don't forget our friends over at BetChris, where they've got reduced juice on hockey as part of their loyalty program. We're loyal hockey fans, Cam. Let's get going, man.
I'm psyched, Brian. I think it's going to be a great year. Looking at the team points totals, I think there's a couple teams we can pick on, teams that overachieved last year, and there's a few of them that I think are going to be absolutely horrible this year. Let's pick some winners, and it's going to be great. Everybody's having a good time, but where's Mitch Marner? What's this guy up to? Is he still out of kegger? Come on. It's ridiculous with these players. Yeah, sign these guys, man. Like, the season's not too far away. It's getting a little bit stupid. I guess once one domino falls, they'll all fall. That's what they say.
Buddy, I've never seen anything like this in the 50-plus years of hockey.
It's a different world now.
Where this RFA thing, no one is signed. The league is in a quagmire, and trades and everything's got to start to happen. Once one or two of these guys sign, there'll be dominoes. I'm looking forward to my daily radio show in Las Vegas. I got Darren Dreger on today.
Oh, nice.
And he'll hopefully some inside information about what's going on. And I'm going to pose this question to him, which would probably raise eyebrows. And there's no way you can answer it or how he would answer it, but I know you'll answer it. Well, and I brought this up yesterday. The C word's a bad word. And the C word I'm talking about is collusion. And I'm not going down that road, but I just find it eerily weird that not one of these RFAs have signed. I think the Matthews contract with the Leafs, where he signed for 5 years and can hit free agency, and he better win a cup in Toronto for those people in the next 5 years, because he's going to Arizona. He's going home. That was what that was all about. And now all these RFAs go, well, if he can do it, I want to do it. I want free agency. So it's all about term. It's not about money. They all want to get to free agency quicker, and nothing's happening. And, it's an old boys network. Wait a minute. It's an old boys network. These guys are up having Frosties, at the cottages. And I just find it really odd that all these GMs, and I don't blame them, but they've drawn a line in the sand, and it's almost maybe am I being Oliver Stone? It's just
no.
To me it's like that these guys, and they can't tamper. They're not, but I mean, just guys, bump into each other at a charity golf tournament where say, listen, guys, if we don't have a united front and stand together, all of us who are trying to build our core and our futures and keep our jobs wrapped around young guys, if this is going to be the new wave, we're all going to lose jobs down the road. I just find it really odd that not one thing has happened, and I just think that it seems to me like there is a united front going on out there. Am I reading too much into it?
You're not reading too much into it. And the one thing we love about hockey is it's not like the NBA for that. And God, at the NBA, right, Brian, we go to a charity golf tournament. Hey, here's the deal. Okay, well, you want to sign with me? I'll bring this guy over. That's the thing. Like, it's ruining the league.
And the agents are there.
Yes, and yes. LeBron James and his agents. Take a look at you want to talk about colluding? Look at what's happening with this league. These players. Hey, I'm not going to say the owners could stuff their pockets, but this is ridiculous, picking and choosing, not honoring drafts like, Davis for the Pelicans. Go out there and play for the damn team. It makes me sick. They're paying you that much money to do this stuff. Oh, I want to be traded. Let's hope hockey doesn't work like that. And that's the one thing. Hockey's got a lot of good things going on for it too, Brian. We saw last year, numbers are up in a lot of these places. In your backyard in Vegas, TV numbers through the roof. It is starting to grow in popularity. More people are betting it. It is a good game. It's getting more mainstream. They can't screw this thing up, but I definitely believe collusion's involved. It's a C word. It's a dirty word, but it's true.
Okay, I appreciate you agreeing. I mean,
you have the brain. You agree. Like to think that there's not collusion, you'd be nuts. Nothing is happening. So there has to be something going on. There has to be a united front against it, Brian. Like, it's common sense. There's something going on behind the scenes.
So when it eventually starts to happen that these guys sign, then crazy things are going to happen. So I bet, Chris, I'll just throw one at you. I still think they got a lot of great players, but Winnipeg is sitting at 94.5. So at this moment, they have not signed Laine or Connor, two of their studs. They've lost three of their top four defensemen. If the season started tomorrow, Dustin Buffalo would have to play 44 minutes a night. Yeah. How do you make
more beer than me? You don't think he's up at the cottage, riverboating right now with a keg? Like, that guy always comes into the season with some baby fat from the off-season parties. I'm with you, Brian. I look at Winnipeg, 94.5. This team has to regress. The blue line, it's very, very weak. Hellebuck's okay, but not with support he isn't. And this team has been, getting close for a while, but disappointment setting in. They can't get over that edge in the playoffs. That series was for the taking against the Blues, who won the Stanley Cup, but the Blues got it done. They wore Winnipeg down. I think the Jets, great fan base. They always sell out. Probably the craziest, best fans in the league. They love hockey more than anybody, but this team, I can't see them with 95 points. Even if they get some of these additions, Brian, the back end is a real problem for the Jets.
But yeah, and I hear you. I mean, so today, I agree. I'd say under. But here's where we stand. These numbers are on the board.
Yep.
But it stands to reason, like, for argument's sake, I follow the Sabres. Ristolainen makes complete and utter sense that he's going to Winnipeg. And then is it Ristolainen for Ehlers, or is it Ristolainen and a bunch of stuff for Laine or Connor? And so you're sitting there trying to determine, what do I do with Winnipeg? In the next 3 weeks, there could be a blockbuster deal, and all of a sudden they've fixed what was a massive problem, or it was a crummy trade and they got worse.
No, you bring up good points. Even through the trades, and I love Wheeler. I love a lot of the guys. I think Scheifele. These guys are awesome players, Brian, and year after year they show up. But that back end, it really took its toll. They had major injuries as well, and I don't expect the goaltending to be at that level. I think Hellebuck elevated his game, but I still don't think he is that elite goaltender. I think he just had, he was on a little bit of a tootsie roll with this team. And yeah, you're right, though. You got to be very, very cautious. I guess it's kind of like buying a future or stock. You got to believe if they make the deal, you would tend to go over. But right now, I'm definitely going under. I have one to ask you about, too. I'm looking if this is a misprint. How the hell are the Vancouver Canucks going to get 90 points this year? I see their wins total at 89.5. Am I crazy? That's way too high, don't you think?
I think this is finally an organization maybe getting their head out of their backside overpaid for Miller, but they've got young guys. But you got Besser hasn't signed yet.
Exactly.
The Pedersen kid's a stud, but if he sneezes, he gets hurt.
Yeah, he's paper thin. Exactly.
And I think clearly, they're heading in the right direction, but I think they fall short. And if you say, I think the number's in a decent spot. I mean, if you say bare bones minimum, the cutoff to make the playoffs is 95 points. And in the West, I think it's higher than the East because I think the East is deeper. I think that number is kind of where it should be. I think Vancouver competes for a long time and they fall short. The one I would say to you and I were talking earlier, yeah, I get Pavelski's gone, but there's still a lot of weapons there. And you've got Burns and Carlson, and they're at 94.5, San Jose. I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs, but I think in the regular season, I think they're at worst the third best team in the Pacific, which means they're in the playoffs, which means if the cutoff is 95 points to get in the playoffs and in the West, I think San Jose goes over the total.
Yeah, it's. I'll tell you another thing too. When you look at the goaltending situation, Jones during the regular season is usually pretty decent. I know he has that one game where he totally craps his pants, but
and Dell can play a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. That was exactly the segue that I was talking about. I have a feeling Aaron Dell steps up and plays a little bit more and gets more confidence, and he's a fine goaltender. He's actually kind of an underrated backup. People don't get to see him too much with those West Coast games, so I agree. The goaltending's not as bad as people think it is, and just without Pavelski, they still have too many weapons on that team. Good skaters, tough place to play in that barn, too. They got good fans at the Shark Tank. Yeah, I lean over there, Brian. At first, I was thinking under, but the more I think about it and listening to you, I agree. SJ Sharkey, chomp, 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 over 94.5.
It's going to be great. Watch camp and see what happens. And a lot of these kids are more prepared, and some teams got to start cycling in. Vegas has to start getting their kids and replenish a little bit. And on paper, Vegas, it looks spectacular. But in the offseason, they got rid of Miller. They got rid of Haula. They got rid of Belmar. And they didn't get Gusev, which was mind-boggling. And you look at their roster, you go, oh, they're loaded for bear. I got news for you. Fleury gets hurt or one or two key guys gets hurt. That's a big number, 101.5.
It's huge. And I really like the Stone acquisition. I think it was probably one of the best moves ever. I loved him in Ottawa. I think Vegas has done a great job since being implemented into the league. The fan base is growing, Brian. I've been at your events where, people are actually coming out. They understand hockey pretty quick. It's not just, obviously you're going to get a few bandwagoners, but you got some real hardcore people that have bought into it. It's taken over the city. A good product, but 102 points, I'm with you. I don't trust the backup goaltending on that team. Vegas, though, Brian, it's something about that city, too. Teams go in there, they feel good about themselves, and it's just a tough place to play. You're in Las Vegas. They're still humans, right? Do you spend a little too much time at the blackjack table? Do you go hang out a little bit too long at the strip club? I don't know what it is, but this home ice advantage in Vegas is very, very big, but I'm in no rush to lay the over at 101.5.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, betchriscanada.net. Let me throw one at you, maybe off the beaten path a little bit, because I always say this as a Sabres guy. Wherever Chuck Fletcher goes, the Sabres should have a GPS ankle bracelet on this guy and have him on speed dial. I mean, they fleeced him in every trade they ever made with him, and now he's at Philly, and you're sitting there, and you're overpaying for players, and I just don't understand. You're putting so much on the kid. He's going to be a really good goalie, but to me, can Hart himself get you 89.5 points? I don't think so.
No, and here's the thing about the Flyers, too, aging stars. Voracek, Giroux, all of those guys, great players. Yeah, but what was that, 5 years ago, Brian? And they've had many wars too. People don't know. Look at the teams that have regressed in hockey, Brian. It's not just because of the, not making the acquisition. It's time. Look how quick, the kid on the Ducks, Corey Perry, aged. It's those wars in the playoffs, the extended game. Sidney Crosby even looked beat down. Anaheim, LA, a lot of those teams that were there and very good for a long time and going deep, wars of attrition over time. It hurts. It's a physical game. They're older and slower when you look at those teams, and Philadelphia fits the bill. This kid's going to have to stand on his head, but I don't trust it. And they also have offensive defensemen. They don't really have a shutdown defenseman. Gotts-Bear is a good player on the power play, one of the best in the league, but defensively, there's too many liabilities and too many slow forwards on the Philadelphia Flyers. They're a team that really hasn't got acclimated to the new hockey. They're not fast enough.
Cammy, you got pulled. We should call our friends over at BetChris. I got a great prop. This is a great prop. They should do it. And it's sitting right on their site. You got the Devils over under 88.5, and you got the Rangers over under 88.5. I would play the Rangers head-to-head against the Devils all day long. The Devils got a lot of cool acquisitions. Bottom line is the Rangers got Georgiev and Lundqvist. And
who do the Devils got?
Corey Schneider. I mean,
I like Corey Schneider, but it's done. Brian, I was covering Corey Schneider when I was going to the Stanley Cup when he almost took Luongo's job with Vancouver. That was how many years ago was that? It was almost it was a long time ago.
Hey, Moses was wearing short pants.
Exactly. That was when I was wearing single XL shirts, and now I'm a double. So, Brian, it's been a while.
Whoa. What?
You know me. Right before I discovered even more chicken wings and more beer, I'm with you. The new jersey
double.
Yeah. No, I'm a big guy. But don't worry. I'm very fast. They call me the dancing bear. I'm like a lineman, Brian. Fast on my feet for 6'1", 260. I can really move.
Oh no, but I'm saying it's a triple X.
It's triple X. That's
over
true.
3 and over $1.90.
Sorry, you're right, and I've reduced my weight about 22. So let's not go there. Let's not go. But let's talk about the Rangers, buddy.
They got reduced juice at BetChris.
Yeah.
You don't have reduced shirts.
No, I don't. I like reduced juice, though. And I'll tell you, the Rangers, you said it, that goaltending, fantastic. I'm also going to tell you, out of the draft picks, I'm going to go with Capo. He's going to be my guy over Hughes. It's kind of like, you talk about the one guy. I like the horse in the two-hole a lot better. I think the Rangers have a better team all around. The Devils made flashier moves, but you're right. They're not really moves that I love. I like PK Subban as a person. He's a defensive liability out there. You have no goaltending. The offense will come. New Jersey's going to play a lot of overs this year, Brian. They'll score some goals, but they're going to lose a lot of, 5-4, 6-3 type of games like that because, you said it, the back end and goaltending, it needs a lot of work under. Keep digging. Yeah, I'm on the Rangers over the Devils.
And then the big news, we'll wrap it up with this, and we're going to have trades, and we're going to have great info for you all season long. This is hopefully the calm before the big storm. But the big news, talk about keeping something under wraps. I mean, Connor McDavid with a torn PCL.
Oh, yeah.
And we're hoping he can, make the opener. Well, that's what they were saying about Andrew Luck. They hope he can make the opener. Then he retires. If the Oilers, with a healthy McDavid, 84.5 is going to be hard. And but if he maybe doesn't come back until the end of October, the fear is he's still going to be terrific. But if he's not, 100%, and that's way up in the air, I'd be jumping all over the under 84.5 on Edmonton.
You bring up excellent points. This team, you've been waiting for them to get better with the new brass. Getting slightly, very, very, very slightly, but you're right. And Draisaitl won't be the same without McDavid, even when they split him up, not as effective. There's so many questions with the Oilers. What do they got now? Mike Smith as their goaltender. They basically swapped goalies, Talbot for Smith. I think that's a major issue as well. Nobody else on this team scores. Other than McDavid, they're a slow-footed team as well. They're not deep. The defense is not good enough. Nurse is good. But, the defense, you need shut-down defensemen. And every team has that guy that could score. And the difference is Burns can also play defense. You got to have a guy that could do both, offense and defensive prowess. Edmonton has neither. Yeah, you said it. If McDavid's out a significant amount of time, this team is going to be in the basement. He's their only threat, Brian. I agree. 85 points will be hard to find, but you have to bet. If he comes back, it's a bet I wouldn't make, but if he misses time, they're definitely going under the number.
He's Cam Stewart. I'm Brian Blessing. BetChris, reduced jukes on hockey. Training camp's about to go, but believe me, the daily betting offerings and opportunities that exist in hockey, we are going to have a lot of fun this hockey season. Bud, have a good one. Enjoy the nice warm weather, because if hockey is coming, that means snow's not far behind it for you, bud.
Yeah, for me. But lucky you in Vegas, Brian. You can wear shirts with no sleeves and go for a dip. I envy you, buddy. But
there's a small difference. when we're in February, at the beginning of the day, you're out scraping ice off the windshield. I'm scraping bugs off my windshield.
Excellent point, Brian. Excellent point. You got to get me a green card, buddy. I got to move there one of these days. Maybe we could talk to our boy Mike, our boss, and see if he can do something because I'm getting older.
I'm all in. I would be your sponsor, but I would have two rules. All right, two rules. When you get down here, you are not allowed to cavalierly throw "yous" into words for no reason.
Yep.
Okay, that's one. Okay. And the other thing is, when in Rome, if you get down here, it's an organization.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could live.
It's not an organization.
No dude booted, Brian. And we'll try to get our milk out of those plastic bags. You're right, though. As a Canadian, what a bunch of hosers. Milk in bags, like that's just stupid. Put it in glass or plastic, you moron. Anyway,
you know what? Just one day, that would be a fun thing to do. Is to go to the dairy farm that supplies Canada and see them holding the plastic bag under the cow.
It's so annoying too. You're right. You got to snip it. And you got to buy the container. You got to buy products for it. Like you can't even just pour it on. I got to get a container to hold the bag. What dummies!
Honey, I'm on the way home. Do you need me to get anything? Yeah, stop and get some milk and buy a pitcher to put the milk in.
And scissors. Thanks.
We need scissors. Oh, that's terrible.
Boy. Anyway, we're going to have a good time this season, Brian. Hopefully we make some people some money, and hopefully if I hit some winners, I can come down and see you in Vegas, buddy. But all the best to you. Good luck with everything.
Just to put a lid on that,
yeah.
Does that change the old adage when you're telling little kids, like down here, it's don't run with scissors. Yeah. Up in Canada, it's don't run with milk. All right, we'll do it again. We love being here with you. Thanks to Bet Chris. Don't forget reduced juice on hockey.
You've been listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, BetChrisCanada.net.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.